just briefly touched on it. You spoke of part of the necessary to-dos for reading modern fiction is the female character. And as a man with a robust voice, what do you do in order to prepare yourself for the female cast within those stories?
Well, a lot of estrogen injections and I
Skin looks good.
Listen to it. Thank you. Yeah. No. It's a major bugaboo for any narrator. Female narrators get stick all the time, for their male voices. And there are some listeners who just don't want to make the leap. I understand. That's okay. I mean, Joe Rogan talking to Jack, mentioned it, that it was a little weird hearing me do women's voices. And I get it. I feel weird too. Not going to go into detail, but imagine a real vocal sex scene between, and you're by yourself. And they call it work and payment.
Kids, the door's locked. Don't come in. Daddy's reading the scene.
It's like, God. And what does your father do? So what I found is, rather than doing this sort of easy textbook, I'm going to raise my voice, kind of thing, which never works, because then it just sounds like me speaking high.
Yeah.
There are women who have lower voices than I do. There are women whose voices are all over the range. And within that range, there are women whose voices are in their chests. There's women whose voices are in their throats. There's women whose voices are in what we call the mask, in their face. It's about placement. Again, doing that sort of thing of like, we all speak sort of roughly with this. We don't really have a discernible dialect. And yet within that, the four of us, if we were given one word, there are minuscule ways in which we would pronounce it differently, and it's because of the musculature we employ to say the word.
Well, I'm from Jersey, and it would come out bad. Jersey.
Yeah, probably best to leave it at that. But so it's a question of like, where is she from? How does she speak? What is, what sort of things about this character informs. Is she world weary? Does she still believe? Is she, you know what I mean? There's all this stuff comes into play. Then you're not so tripped up. Then you don't feel so weird doing the voices. And I try to do my best, because I don't want to ask that much of the audience,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's tough though. It's a constant challenge. I'm constantly going back and reevaluating, how's this working? How's this? Is it okay?
Yeah.
And again, you're not going to please everybody. I mean, I've read reviews, but I've read reviews where people have been like, I just can't, I hate the way he does women's voices. And it's like, okay, there are other narrators who are amazing at it. And I'm doing my best.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not reading or listening to a Jack Carr book to worry so much about the tonal voice of the woman in it. I mean,
that's the other point. You want to get the story that Jack wrote.
Yeah.
And that is the point. And so my whole thing is just to be as out of the way as much as possible.
Yeah.